I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk to folks from the VTuber community about their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. We're joined by A-Man. Hi.
Hello.
Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, I'm A-Man. I'm a VTuber. I'm still on PNGs at the moment, but I apply.
Mm-hmm.
I make audios on what's it called? YouTube. That's it.
Right. Yeah, you got
So
some.
yeah.
You got some stuff up there. We're going to have the links coming up in the description for the podcast coming up. When did you get started being online for your content?
Uh, Jesus, how long ago was that? 5 months. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh yeah. So 30th of September, 2023.
What made you decide to do
Yeah.
it?
Uh, okay, that's an actual long question. So,
Go right ahead.
I've been following like a couple content creators for a while now, and I was seeing a lot of the time that with both their audios and VTubing, they ended up whether wanting to or not going for like a lot of sex appeal, which I just really didn't like. They were making nothing but like spicy audios. Their model was very clearly sexual, and I just did not like that at all. So I wanted to see if I could become a VTuber and like prove that you don't need sex appeal to get rather big in the industry.
And
So yeah,
you decided on that particular model that you have right now. Was that one that you came up with yourself?
more or less, yeah.
Well, and with that, you've been pretty steady. Is there any idea of changing it in the future, or are you going to stick with it?
Yeah, more or less, because like this design that I have now wasn't the one that I had in my head, because like my brother was the one who I commissioned it from,
Mhm.
and he just kind of did his own thing. So yeah,
As brothers are wont to
oh,
do.
but I mean I can't really complain. It was really cheap for what I got. So yeah,
So when you're online and streaming, what do you like to do online?
really depends. Just kind of like what I want to play at the moment. It started off with Ultra Kill, then. Well, then I've been doing Code Vein for my entire time. That game has been taking a while.
Hmm.
Bit of Portal 2, more Kill, Titanfall, Monster Hunter, Lethal Company. Then I decided to do a bloody Dark Souls, like, what's it called? Trilogy run through.
Hmm.
And I wanted to do a Giant Dad build for Dark Souls 1. After dying the pinwheel for like 2 hours straight, like I went, okay, oh no, the stream's breaking. I just put like a burger night on stream, and just closed the game and opened Dark Souls 3. So going from 3 to 1 instead of 1 to 3.
Oops, oops, there's been a mistake. The computer's not acting up. I
Yep.
can't do it.
Oopsie poopsie, the game broke, and suddenly in Sekiro. Oh no.
Don't know how that happened. It just randomly comes up that way. Well, the best laid
Just got a fame perfect
yeah, well,
glitch, whatever it's called.
yeah, the best laid plans sometimes aren't going to go through. But are you usually on by yourself, or do you have? I think I've seen you in collabs before.
Yeah, with my normal schedule, it's Saturday, normal stream, and then Sunday I have a collab with mostly Zephyr at the moment because we're running through Code Vein.
Hmm.
So yeah.
So tell me about Code Vein. That's a game I'm not really familiar with.
God, this game is complicated. I don't really know a lot of the lore. It's not a Dark Souls game.
Yeah.
Let's see. So you're like this immortal being called a revenant
Hmm.
that can only die when your heart is crushed.
Okay.
Each revenant has a blood code which gives you all your abilities. But because in your backstory, this does get into spoilers for a bit.
Hmm.
Uh, in your backstory, you sucked the blood of the queen, who was like the big bad of the universe, who's the whole reason why humanity's basically dead and there's thorns of judgment everywhere. Um, so yeah, they're like you suck their blood because revenants are basically vampires, except they don't die in sunlight and they need blood to survive, and that fractures your blood code. So you can basically use whatever powers you want as long as you can pick up the thing on the floor that normally kills people.
So, are these?
That's the best how I can do it.
Well, that sounds pretty good to me. These objects, if you don't have the ability, can you still use them, or are they attached to your ability?
Okay, so these objects. Okay, so gotta get more into lore here. So with these objects that I said, when you're a revenant, uh, I think it's the more and more you die and give up, like in Dark Souls with hollowing.
Mhm.
The more that happens, you'll eventually turn into a lost and just lose. Like you'll basically go insane. Wait, that's right. I'm dumb. If you don't have blood for a long enough time, you go insane.
Mm.
And when you become a lost, if you die, like your heart crystallizes into this like spiky thing that falls to the floor. Normally, if you pick it up, it spikes your hand and turns you into a lost instantly. But because your blood code is fractured, you can actually pick it up. It'll still spike through your hand, which looks really painful.
Yeah.
But you'll be able to go into the memories of that lost and then use their abilities from them.
Ah, okay. So
Yeah.
you pick up the abilities of the people who basically, uh, for the lack of a better term, died in the game. Um, but you get to pick up what they had, and those abilities come with them. Do
Yeah.
do you lose the abilities you already have when you do that?
No, you can like one thing that people really like about Code Vein is that your build is based on your blood code. So if you want to do like a high strength, high endurance build, you just wear the Atlas blood code. If you want to be a caster, you just wear the Artemis blood code, and you can change it out whenever you want, which I really like about it.
So is there a limited number of these that you can have, or can you have an unlimited amount of
Nope.
abilities?
There are, well, kind of. It's a bit weird. There is a limited amount of abilities and blood codes, but I mean that makes sense. They can only make the game so big.
Hmm.
And when you unlock a blood code and you unlock their abilities, you can't transfer the abilities through blood codes unless you master the ability, which is either killing a bunch of enemies with it equipped, or just spending a lot of money to master it instantly.
Mm.
But
So
some abilities also can't be transferred through blood codes, like weapon masteries. Like I can't, because I'm a caster, I can't use the one-handed sword mastery because I'm using the different blood, like a different blood code.
right, right. So there are
Yeah,
limitations, but you can still get up a pretty good build across the board with it.
pretty much, yeah. Though at the same time, I don't think that's really recommended
Mm.
because if you're going for like a heavy weapon build, you don't want to be going for armor that boosts your dark gift skill by a lot because otherwise you're gonna have like no defense. Because
Mm.
there's one piece of armor that I used to wear all the time before going to the final boss, who honestly is literally I would call him the worst final boss in all of gaming. It sucks so bad. Uh, yeah, like I was wearing this piece of outfit called the Suicide Spur, which made my magic do a lot more damage. But as you can infer by the name, it really does not like defense. You have single digit defense across everything.
Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
it kind of it drains other things. So you have good and bad with some of these things.
Well, yeah, but that's also like the standard with a lot of these games. There's a lot of stuff that's like risk reward and all that.
Right.
And like, if you go with a high defense armor set, it's gonna weigh a lot, so you might be fat rolling.
Mm.
It's not gonna boost your damage a whole lot, so that's another issue. And yeah, but I
Well,
mean, you'll be able to tank some hits, which is the main thing.
so
Especially with the bloody final boss who just decides, you know what, screw you, you're not doing what you want. I'm gonna have 90% resistance to all elemental damage. So, caster builds like me are just screwed over. I bloody hate this boss so goddamn bad.
Oh man. Well, it sounds like you're kind of suggesting that people kind of pour their abilities into one particular build and not try to build across the board.
Well, yeah, because that like while you can technically do that, you need to grind for upgrade materials for a long time since like each blood veil and weapon do their own thing, and yeah, you're gonna want to specialize a bit. Because like for a caster, you're gonna want a weapon with a high drain rating so you can use your magic more.
Excellent.
And then you'll need a blood veil that boosts your dark skill by a lot. But then if you're doing a heavy weapons build, you're always gonna want the biggest, heaviest weapon you can get, and then the most defense you can get, as well as still being able to roll at a decent speed. Because if you're fat rolling, you're gonna have very little iframes and not a lot of like good times. Let's say that.
Now you go from that to playing to say you play Lethal Company, where kind of all your strategy is almost thrown out of the window.
Yeah, it's still strategies, but I mainly just played it a lot with one of my friends. So yeah, we were having fun.
So how do you do that with two people? I've seen 4 to 6 people and they're barely getting through. How can you do that with just two?
Get good. It's that simple. It's not a hard game.
Yeah.
Like if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty and speedrun it, it's literally just hop in the entrance, go into the two short pathways, grab everything, leave, go into the fire exit, grab everything, leave. Don't go into the labyrinth. That's where you die.
But that's
It's
where
like it's that simple.
isn't that where all the good stuff is?
No, actually, a lot of the equipment. All right, so time to explain things. So with Lethal Company, when you enter the main building, there's three pathways. Two of them are duds that will lead to blank areas, and one is goes straight towards the labyrinth.
Mhm.
So, but those two areas often hold a lot of loot, and going to the fire exit, you can get quite a bit more before you leave. And while you won't get a lot from it, like, well, you won't get all of it, all the loot from it. You'll still get quite a lot, and just by doing that, like for a couple days, you can get to Titan like by quite like quota 2 or 3. So
But
it's a pretty good strategy.
so you don't have a problem doing that in reaching the goal.
Yeah, like that's the whole strategy too for
Uh,
like bloody quota 10 speed runs.
right.
So it works for quite a long while.
What about the outside dangers? How can you avoid
Well,
some of those?
because you spend so little time actually doing stuff, they rarely, if ever, apply.
Mm.
Because, like, if you go to Titan, even if it's eclipsed, you can just go in, go out, like 5 seconds, unless there's giants out, and then, you're good.
Huh.
It's that simple.
Well, you pretty much broke that down, didn't you? That's
Mm.
I guess it's when you have more people that you have more chance for people to screw up.
Yeah, true, but at the same time, the more people, I feel like the goofier people get, so, people are gonna be a lot more willing to, like, run onto a landmine if it gets everyone else killed, because it's funny.
Have you had a situation where you've had to in that game try to kill off one of the monsters, and is it easy to do?
I remember doing that a lot. Like every time I play with my friends who have like 2 hours in the game, I always go for like the bloodthirsty defender like playstyle,
Uh-huh.
and I'm always like gunning to find something to kill. I never do, and the only time I did kill something was a baboon hawk outside, and after I did that, I ended up drowning in mud.
Oops.
Yeah, so killing things isn't that hard. It's more on like how to kite. But at the same time, there's a lot of things that are like the things that you want to kill are really, really hard to kill. And yeah, you need like probably like 2, 3 people to kill it. Like a
Especially,
thumper, let's say.
especially if your
It's
weapons are
not gonna be easy.
your weapons are only stop signs. It's not going to be easy to
Yeah,
whack some
stop
of these
signs,
things.
shovels. I mean, the shotgun's really good, but you have to kill a bloody nutcracker for it, and well, it takes up like 3 inventory slots if you want to use it.
Mm. Yeah, that sounds like with the strategy that you've mentioned of getting in and getting out, that isn't an option.
Yeah, but at the same time, getting in, getting out, as long as if the moon's not eclipsed, you literally won't see anything like at all, unless you get really bad RNG and get like a 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. Coil head. You'll be perfectly fine.
All right. Well, that's really good strategy there. And folks who want to get in there and take it with two people, I imagine that using that strategy is easier for two people than it would be for four, because you know exactly what you're doing and you don't have to worry about everybody else.
Hmm.
Yeah. Now, what games are on the horizon for you? Have you seen anything coming up you really want to play?
Honestly, no. I've been in like quite a like until like up till like last week or something. I've been like in a deep rut, going like I don't want to play any of my games. They all suck, but I don't have anything I want to play. Like Elden Ring DLC is coming out in August, so I'm bloody excited for that. But
Mm-hmm.
other than that, I was completely stuck.
Right.
Then my brother was shoving Guilty Gear Strive down my throat, and I always thought I hated bloody fighter games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I was really annoyed when he was doing it. But I eventually broke, went, okay, I'm gonna play it. Immediately got hooked. I already have like well over 100 matches, 27 hours, and I've been bloody busy with school, so if I didn't have school to worry with, I'd be well over this mark by now.
So what's this game about that you're talking about?
Uh, Guilty Gear Strive, so it's not that bad. I don't know why I'm getting so excited. It's not that complicated. It's it's an arena fighter where you play as things called like there are still some people who are human,
Mm-hmm.
but most of the characters are things called gears, which are basically like superhumans who can have like magic abilities and all that, and
Right.
really cool. The lore is very complicated. There's this guy called Faust who's a doctor who his whole personality is really goofy and funny. Like unlike all the other characters who are like really serious, will like with the overdrive will like I don't know, burn you alive. Faust just goes like, I'm gonna pull out of my pocket. What's here? Ooh, a cartoon bomb. Okay. Ooh, an afro that makes you take more damage and all that.
Yeah.
And let's see. Oh, a horn that summons an army of mini Fausts. Yes, please. Ooh, a donut that heals the other opponent. Oh, a meteorite that basically lets me win immediately. Hell yeah. So yeah, everybody loves Faust, and his bloody overdrive in this game. Like one of them is just like throw out a million objects. It's not the best, but the other one is you throw out a shiny thing. If you hit the opponent on the way to going to it, he sees that they're hurt and then gets a wheelchair and rams into the shin with it by accident. And it's bloody lovely. And in like the previous game, Guilty Gear Xrd, uh, his overdrive is like the thousand years of pain thing that like people do, where like you shove your fingers up the butt
Oh no.
and like you have to draw cups too. Like there's one that does a lot of damage, one a little, and one that does none. So you can just completely gamble on how much damage you do,
Oh
and you just you do that. Some characters are in quite a bit of pain, and then there's all the girls.
yeah.
They're kind of into it.
Oh no. Ah.
Yeah, I bloody love Guilty Gear, man. It's so good.
Well, it sounds like you got enough to keep going on that channel. Is your goal for this year basically just to be on more often once school's done?
I've had to bloody announce a soft hiatus just so I could focus on school. My goal for this year is actually getting stuff done, more or less, not really advancing.
Mm.
Because, yeah, the only streams I've been able to do are bloody collabs with Zephyr, and even then they've been like weeks, sometimes maybe like a month apart, because I just had to like focus on work, so that wasn't fun.
Uh, Work, life, all that stuff getting in the way of the gaming. What's the deal with that?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but you
But
know,
luckily, like all my assessments are yeah,
oh
that's me.
bless you.
All my assessments are basically done. And yeah, I can finally have time off. It's amazing.
When do you have to get back to it, though?
Well, all my assessments are due next week,
Hmm.
but they're all basically done. The only reason they're not done now is because then I just wouldn't have anything to do next week. So I'm pretty confident.
Well, good luck to those. Get them taken care of, and good
Thank
luck to you
you.
on this on the channel. Sounds like you're having a fun time with it.
Just more or less, yeah.
Well, what else do you want to do? I mean, you want to? Is there something you would really like to add to the channel?
Well, let's see. Getting better at commentary while playing is a big one because my streams, I would honestly say, are quite a bore. Let's see, more audio content,
Hmm.
and maybe also, Jesus, maybe also drum covers as well.
Mm.
Really into drumming, so I want to do that.
Now that would be interesting. Do that. Do kind of a live setup where you take requests and try to drum the requests.
Maybe, I don't know. That sounds really hard. I still use sheet music for my drumming, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm
And
gonna
that also, and
I'm
yeah,
I'm gonna set that bar way high for you.
how dare you? I mean, I was thinking of one thing because I do have like I use an electric drum kit, so one thing I was thinking of was um turning it into a controller and playing Dark Souls 3 on it. So,
Now,
beating Dark Souls 3 using a bloody drum kit.
now that would be
Amazing.
absolutely hilarious to watch. To see,
Yeah.
and then to hear what the drum sound would be like.
I mean, if you've seen how many people watch what's his name? I'm just gonna call him Blue Guy. You've seen how many people watch Blue Guy beat all of like a bunch of the Dark Souls games with like weird and wacky controllers, like beating Dark Souls 2 with a broken sword or Dark Souls 3 with bongos. Like people love that stuff, so
Well,
yeah.
well, if you got that set up, you let me know because I'm going to do a special on it. And we're going to try to get as many people into it as possible because
Oh God,
I want to
okay.
know now.
I mean, it's probably gonna be a long while, but
I,
yeah.
yeah, do you have anything I can set the bar even higher for you? How can I make this worse?
Um, I don't know. Maybe if you just invade my world every 5 seconds and kill me, that'll probably make it worse.
No, I'm not good enough for that, and I certainly don't have the ability. My ability kind of ended with Super Mario the first, so I'm I'm done with that. But for folks who want to
Oh no.
watch you online, is streaming, how can they do that?
It's YouTube. Yeah,
Yeah, we got the YouTube.
yeah.
We'll have that channel set up for folks to click on in the description, and we do appreciate you coming on. Hope that everything turns out well for you next week, and you can get that drum set hooked up because I want to see this happen. Now you've got. We're gonna set you up for this one.
All right.
Folks, if you get a chance to check out and see what A Man has to offer, he's a fun guy and he's got a lot of stuff going on with his YouTube channel. Thanks for coming on, sir.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.